Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. Okay, all you His Dark Material fans, season two is coming your way. And someone who might give us a few more insights into that is Lin Manuel Miranda. Lin, I want to start out asking you because I'm fascinated watching this show because it obviously takes us back to childhood, but the empowerment that it gives kids with imagination to go someplace else. That, where we read a book or we hear something. And I want to take you back to your childhood. Where were the places you went?
Oh gosh. Well, listen, I'm a child of the 80s, so I remember having a Jedi certificate on my wall growing up. I remember sort of falling in love with those fantasy worlds E.T. and all these sort of incredible movies I fell in love with growing up. And then as I got older and learned to read, was falling in love with sort of these fantasy worlds, whether it's Tolkien or whether it's Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, His Dark Materials holds a special place in my heart because my wife and I started reading those books when we were dating, so we were falling in love with Philip Pullman's world and each other at the same time. And we've just celebrated 10 years of marriage. But this world takes me back to when we really were just starting out.
But I can only fathom when you were reading this that one day, little did you know that you were going to be an aeronaut.
Yeah.
And as somebody who doesn't really like heights, that kind of has a little anxiety, I was on set, so I saw some of the balloon setups that they had for you. Just walk us through a little bit about that experience. Obviously, they didn't take you way up in the air, but how real did it get?
Well, you also have to understand that between takes, I'm just hanging out in that balloon. Like my life was that balloon. That was where I lived, basically in Cardiff. So you get, and in the first series, I got very comfortable swinging around that thing. So, they never took us very high off the ground, 10 feet tops, but I was very grateful I was comfortable because the second season, me and that balloon go through some stuff. I mean, wind machines and rain machines and explosions on the side of the thing. So I was grateful. I felt like I knew my way around because they throw everything but the kitchen sink at that thing in season two.
And part of the essence of the story is about everybody has their demon, that spiritual animal that kind of goes with them. If you had to have one that was around you, what would your animal be?
Oh, I wish I could say something really noble like a wolf or a lion, but it's probably like a subway rat. Like it's just something scrappy and resourceful that survives. And my joke last season when I got asked this question was, it's the pizza rat. It's the New York City pizza rat. I'd be totally fine with that. Survival and industriousness is what I prize.
When we first meet your character in season two, he is gone to meet the witches, to kind of get guidance about, how to go on his quest. And it's funny because growing up, we have such an aversion to like witches that, they're the dark side and whatever. And yet we're kind of demystifying who they are. And maybe it's a metaphor for life in general that we make assumptions about so many people. And once you have a conversation with somebody, maybe they're not as bad as we think they are.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I hadn't really considered it before, but I think that that's something Philip Pullman does with language again and again. He'll take a word that doesn't necessarily have the most positive connotation, demon, for instance, and that in this world means your soul. It means your other half. And so this word that you maybe had a negative connotation with is suddenly, you'll never look at it the same way again. I think similarly with witches, the witches are a real wild card in the Philip Pullman universe because they live for hundreds of years. They are aware of the multiple universes that exist. And so they don't often get sort of involved in the day-to-day of humankind. So when they do, it matters enormously. And they don't all have the same allegiances. And so again, some of these witches are more noble and kind and brilliant. And again, yes, Philip Pullman's taking whatever you think of this word and he's flipping it on its head.
And just a last quick question for you. Obviously, this summer, people had a little bit of a chance to exhale through your work of Hamilton when it went out on Disney Plus. Uh, is there still going to be a film version at some point that would take it out of its theatrical realm?
I don't know the answer to that. And honestly, the what I'm so grateful for is that we have such an amazing film of the production, because that's what I spent 6 years writing was this piece of theater. And Tommy found a way to bring that to the screen in a way that never lets go of its theatrical roots, but also, that thing's a movie. It's just as moving a cinematic experience as it is a theatrical one, I think. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to give that to the world in a time when we weren't able to give them live theater, as a reminder of how powerful live theater can be. You know, if someone wants to make a film adaptation, because that's what it is, of Hamilton down the line, I'd certainly be open to anyone with a vision for it. But you've got a high bar to clear because we already got a pretty good movie.
And is that the room where it happens behind you?
This is actually my neighbor's house because my internet isn't good enough. So it's a beautiful fireplace. It is not mine.
That's great. Well, Lin Manuel Miranda, it's season 2 of his Dark Materials, and this is Scott Orlin. Till next time.